Hi, my name is Jessica Scherenbrock, and today I will be discussing on how to properly clean and put away tack after your Western riding lesson. First, you're going to take your bridle and come into the second Western tack room, as we are right now. You can hang your bridle up, which makes it easier for cleaning, so I'm going to hang my bridle up after I'm done using it. We have two buckets that we utilize for cleaning our bridles. We have the tack cleaning bucket, which is for like the leathers, the main parts of the bridle, and then we have the bit cleaning bucket that we use to just scrub the bit off of any like hay or dirt or anything that's on that from your ride. So the first thing I like to do is I like to clean the bit, that way that's clean and out of the way. So I'm just going to take my bridle, look at my bit, see what needs to be cleaned. It's pretty grody along the shank and up by the port. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a toothbrush out of the red bucket, which is a combination of Listerine and water, which helps get rid of the germs on the bit. I'm going to take my toothbrush, shake it out, and I'm just going to scrub every area on the bit that needs to be cleaned. And a lot of people forget to clean both sides of the bit. They just look at the front and say, well, it's clean, it should be good. But I like to make sure that every part of the bit, front, back, side, is all clean. So I'm going to scrub the shank. And I want to make sure I'm using the Listerine water mix and not the soap bucket. The cleaner you clean this bit, the easier it will be for the next rider to clean it. So that's important to keep in mind, to not just be lazy and throw the bridle back after your ride. Proper tack cleaning care is accounted into part of your grade for Western riding classes. Alright, so I got most of the bit clean, just for time's sake purposes. I'm not going to clean the entire bit, but again, I'm paying attention to the small details, the back of the bit, side of the bit, making sure that it's all clean. Okay, and it's clean for the most part. So the next thing I like to do once my bit is clean, I like to clean the leather. An important thing to remember while you're cleaning your bridles to not completely saturate it in water, because that can result in your bridle becoming tacky or sticky and just becomes not fun to deal with for future rides. So I'm going to take a sponge, as you see here. I'm going to dip it in water, bring it out to the best of my ability, and then I'm going to take it and put a few swipes on the glycerin soap bar, just to get a little soap on there, and then I'm going to re-dunk it just to suds it up a little more. So it's a little sudsy now, but again, it's not completely saturated. I don't want to dunk my bridle in water. So I'm just going to make smooth cleaning along this bridle. And I'm paying attention to the inside of the bridle because that's where it makes contact with the horse, where dust and horsehair can get on it. We may want to make sure that's clean. Again, I'm just going to go up and down. And if I see that it's getting a little too wet, I'll go ahead and wring my sponge out. And again, I'm paying attention to the inside of the bridle, making sure that's clean. And occasionally I'm going to re-dunk my sponge in the water because my sponge is going to get dirty because the bridle's dirty, and just repeat that process over again. So I'm going to rinse it out, wring it out, swipe on the saddle soap bar a few, and then lightly dunk it again to get some suds going. Alright, I got the main bridle, the headpiece clean for the most part. Next I'm going to move down to my reins, and this is where it really becomes important that you don't saturate them completely, because we don't want to ride with sticky or tacky reins. So I'm just going to lightly go over them. One swipe basically does the job. Hang that rein back up. And And if you're riding the same horse for a number of riding classes and you're using the same bridle, I don't suggest you go ahead and clean your reins every single time because, again, that can lead to the reins deteriorating, getting tacky and sticky. But for today, I'll give the entire bridle set a good cleaning. Alright, and that's how you clean a bridle. If you have any excess water or Listerine or soap on the bridle, you can use a rag to clean that excess water off and just dry it off a little bit to just give it a more polished look. So that's how we clean the bridle. Putting your tack away, it's also essential to be putting your girths away just like you would your bridle, just like you have found them. The two types of girths that you'll mainly be working with in the Western string are a fleece or wool type girth or a neoprene, which is made of rubber. Both of these get cleaned in different ways. So first I'm going to show you how to clean the fleece one. The main thing about these girths are that it just gets a lot of hair stuck and trapped in them. As you can see, there's a lot of dust coming out. So what you can do to clean this is just take like a stiff brush and just brush it off. These we don't get wet or wash unless we send them to laundry to get them further cleaned. So I'm just taking a stiff brush and getting all that excess hair and dirt off of it. And that's how you mainly clean a fleece girth. Next type of girth that you could be dealing with in your Western riding classes is the neoprene girth. And this one, you wouldn't want to take a stiff brush to because it is a rubber material. So much like my bridle, I'm just going to take a damp sponge. Soap you can use at your discretion. But I just want to get all this hair off and the dirt and dust that has accumulated on the girth. So I'm just going to scrub that off. The hair might be hard to get off at first, but you can always finish the job with a dry towel. So I got it saturated for the most part, which will help when I take the dry cloth to it. The cloth will be able to pick up any of that extra hair that the water and the sponge left behind. And again, we don't want to put too much soap if you choose to use soap on this because it could result in the girth becoming tacky or sticky, which makes for an uncomfortable piece to add to your horse while saddling up. So right now I'm just getting all that extra hair off. And as you can tell, it's a lot cleaner than what we had started off with. Alright, now I'm going to properly demonstrate how to put your bridle and your girth away just the way you found it prior to your Western riding class. So first, I'm going to find my hook where my bridle and girth came from. I'm going to take my girth first and put it on this little hook here. That's where the girths are designated to be placed. Next, I'm going to take my bridle, and this bridle is the one with split reins. So I'm going to first hang the crown piece over the main part of this hook, like so. Set it down evenly, and next I'm just going to organize my reins so they lay nicely over that hook. And I'm just going to take them, I like to go to the left and hoop them over to the right, so that's how I'm going to do that, left to right. And they're organized, even, and I'm going to even it out a little bit so it looks like it was put away in a nice organized fashion. Same with the bridle with Rommel reins, same concept. I'm going to grab my crown piece. I'm going to hang it over the main part of the hook. I'm going to organize my Rommel reins. And again, I'm just going to hook them left to right so it's nice in an organized fashion and make it even and straighten it out. Alright, the saddle pad is also another part of your tacking up process, and again, when you're putting this away, we want to make sure that it's put back in a neat fashion and put back directly where we found it from. So this is Bolito's saddle pad. You'll be able to know which horse it belongs to as it should be marked on both sides of the saddle pad. So this is Bolito's. So if we look at our saddle pad rack, we have a list of all of the horses and their coordinating saddle pads. So Bolito's is up on the left, and they go in a descending order. So Bolito's, as you can see, is on top, then it goes B, Bex, Bilbo, BJ. So those should be in coordinating order as they follow on the chart up there. So Bolitos I'm going to take, and I'm just going to put it back up on that coordinating rack where it belongs in a neat fashion and make sure that it looks okay. So when putting your saddle back after your Western riding class, you want to make sure that it's clean. For the most part, the saddle has some hair and dust on it, so I'm going to choose not to clean it with the saddle soap bar and water, just because I don't want to make the saddle tacky or sticky in any way. But I can take a rag and just dust it off and make sure that it's clean for the next rider, like so. And when I put it away, I'm going to put it back on our saddle rack here where all the Western saddles are located. And in order to do that, I'm just going to pick up my saddle, and I'm going to place it on one of these tree limbs right here, and I'm just going to slide it back into place and make sure that the saddles, apart from the saddle you just put back, are all organized around it. So the stirrup caught back here, so I'm just going to reorganize it to make it easier to access for other riders. Putting away your groom box, you're just going to put your brushes back in the box in a neat and organized fashion. So I'm going to go ahead and put the brushes in first. I'm going to take my curry comb, set it on top. That gives me more room in my broom box. I'm going to put any protective wraps back in the box as well. And then my hoof pick, and then anything else that might be in that broom box. Put the lid back on, snap it closed, and put it back to the designated horse that it belongs to, like so. So apart from putting away your bridle, your girth, your saddle, or your saddle pad, it's also important to recognize that you should be putting any other items that you have used during your Western riding class back in their designated place.